This is the thing that gets me with nurses, because we hold on to those benefits and we hold on to those 401ks. Do you even know what your 401k is really doing? Now, we know we pay into it, but do you know that they take the money in our 401k and they're actually investing that money? I have seen with my own eyes people who have changed their investments through their 401k. They have far more money in their 401k than those who never touched it. Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Nurse Boss Shift. It's your girl, Christal P, and I am here for a solo episode today. I just wanted to come in and drop a few gems, drop a few sprinkles. You know, Dr. Jones and I like to sometimes come in separately and speak about something that may have been on our minds. If it's like something quick that we can get out there just to get you guys on your way, on your drive to work, or wherever you are, just to keep the inspiration up and to keep encouraging you all out there who are listening that can do so much more. You can have so much more. It all just takes basically just finding out what that is you need, right? Dr. Jones always says, and many people, we don't know what we don't know, or what we don't know cost us. And that is so true. So that is really the main purpose for this podcast, is just to spread the word to other nurses, because we know how hard it is as nurses, as moms. You know, there's those who everyone will say, or people will say, everyone has a hard job. We all have to give compassion, but we know there's just something different about the compassion and care and emotional energy that we expend being nurses, how we have to extend those to strangers for the most part and give our all while we are there to these strangers that we come to know. But then we have to go home and we have to deal with that same thing at home. So that's why nurses are so special, is because we get it from both ends. So I want to just come on and say that that is the real purpose of our episodes, and the purpose of this podcast is to just spread the word and let people know about different things they can be doing to grow their money, to ultimately buy back what we all want, which is more time and freedom. And I know this podcast, we really focus on entrepreneurship, and that is because that's how Dr. Jones and I found our freedom, was through entrepreneurship. But I want to really hone in on the fact that we try to bring other people and guests in to the podcast that can help nurses with our overall lives, and whether that be mindset, whether that be therapy, whether that be getting our health in order, and our finances in order. So that can all help us to, again, bring us that freedom that we so desire. So today I just wanted to focus and emphasize the importance of having our money grow for us, because I was saying that we talk about entrepreneurship a lot, but really the goal is to just grow your money to be able to buy back that time and freedom. So I want to talk to those who maybe have been thinking about starting a business. You just aren't ready to do that, but you want to know more about investing and how you can make investments with your money. And let me just tell you, this is not the episode as far as me being an expert in that, because I am not, but this is just an episode to encourage you to do those things and to really look into, if starting a business isn't right for you right now, what you can be doing right now to help grow your money and build it so that you will have the funds to start a business, and you will have the funds to be able to pay your debt off, so that you can look into other things such as starting a business. But it's very important that from now, and I mean from now, if you don't have anything with $2 in your account, you really need to start a savings account and start an emergency fund if you don't have one. So that is of utmost importance. And I know a lot of times people think, or I have thought in the past, that, you know, I need to fund this account with $500, $1,000. And that is just simply not the case, because if we wait for ourselves to get that amount of money, especially if we are kind of behind or trying to pay off some debts, that can seem like a lot, or it can take us a lot to get there. But really, you need to start at the basics and start at the bottom. And even if that is sending $50 a check or $25 a check, every check to a high yield savings account, then that is something that needs to be done. And there is a good high yield savings account, and maybe we will link that on the show notes below, that Dr. Jones shared with me, and I have gotten an account with them. But you have to have some sort, because I kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and it's like, no, just start. Even if I can only put $25 in that account, at the time, then that is what I did until I was able to get bigger chunks of money and start funding it. But you have to fund somewhere, because it creates a habit and it creates consistency. And once you start sending in $25 and you do that, then you can start bumping it up to 50 and so forth and so on. So please first start with an emergency fund. It's very important and crucial that we all have an emergency fund set up, so that in the case of an emergency, and that emergency fund needs to be, oh, I didn't get that other shift and I'm going on vacation, so I'm going to pull from it. The emergency fund needs to be an emergency fund for when there is serious emergencies and you need that money, so that you don't have to pull from the finances that you have now, or maybe pull from those savings account where you're saving to maybe start a business. You don't have to pull from that. You can pull from your emergency fund. So while you need an emergency fund, then you also need some sort of savings account, but make sure it's a high yield savings account, that you are getting a big return on what you are putting in there, and not just your regular accounts through your bank, because most of the time those are not high yield and you can get much more money if you use those other accounts. So that's first, just getting the emergency fund started ASAP, not waiting until you have a lot of money or what you feel should fund an account or will be a comfortable amount. Just start low and start slow, just so that you get in the habit and repetition of putting money away. So I just want to emphasize that it's so important. And once you really get this concept and see this concept working in your life, to really have money that works for you, and have money that goes beyond just paying bills and keeping it in a regular savings account. You really want this money to work for you. So how money is working for you by going into a high yield savings account is that they're taking your money and they're working it, because they are distributing it to other people or loaning it to other people. And then they're getting interest on top of that money, but then they give us back the same $100 that we gave them, or $100.02. And the math just isn't mathing. So that's why you want a high yield savings account. So understanding the importance of financial freedom. If you are someone who is in debt or you have a lot of bills, I always say when wanting to start a business, you really need to tackle that first. So if you are in debt, I would not say start a business in debt. Now, of course, student loans are going to be there. Your mortgage is going to be there. I'm not saying wait until you have everything paid off and zero debt. What I'm saying is if you are having to shell out $500 to this credit card payment, $1,000 to that credit card payment, and by the time you look up, you have $3,000 in credit card payments, plus your house, your mortgage, your rent, and your utilities, all the bills that come with that, plus your car note, it just gets to be a lot. So start paying down those things immediately. Again, if you are not someone who is good, please look into coaching. I know we stress coaching about business, but I hope you hear us when we stress coaching about everything in your life. If you, again, are bad with finances, get a financial coach. Get someone who can walk behind you, show you how to budget. Things that I had to do and that I still have to do. I was someone, in talking about my experience with money, I grew up, we always had money. I don't know why that feels so bad for me to say, but attention, aspiring entrepreneurs in the healthcare industry. Have you ever dreamt of starting your own successful IV hydration business? Well, your dream is about to become a reality. Imagine a business where you can make a difference in people's lives while building a thriving venture. We're excited to invite you to a free webinar that will unlock the secrets to launching a successful IV hydration business. Join us for an exclusive event where industry experts will share invaluable insight on the essential steps to launch your IV hydration business, building a six-figure business from scratch, navigating the challenges in the healthcare entrepreneurship journey. But that's not all. Attendees of the webinar will get a sneak peek into our comprehensive IV hydration on-demand course. Discover how this course has empowered others just like you to turn their passion into profit. Picture this: lifetime access to in-depth video trainings, business strategies, SOPs, and exclusive bonuses that can catapult your success.
Register now for our free webinar at https://apply.trueusavvy. That's truusavvy.com/training. Don't miss this opportunity to kickstart your journey to a rewarding and lucrative IV hydration business.
We always had money. It was never a thing of we didn't have, so I'm coming up from it from that point of view. But it was one of those things of we always had, and somebody's actually working hard for that. And so, my mom used to always show me her checks to show me that if you go to school, get a good job, work hard, these are the checks you can get. And I know that, again, her being a nurse, I know that she will work a shift or we're going on vacation, that whole thing, right? So that's how I came into nursing, is I could work a shift to pay off such and such. But I had to really refocus how I saw money and really learn how to budget. It was really mind blowing to me that, okay, so I'm going to say I only have $200 to spend for the week and I can only spend that? Like, what happens if I really want something? So really teaching myself to say no, to not be an impulsive spender, not I see it, I want it. I would, no, I want it today. It's Wednesday. I don't want to wait until Friday. I want to pay it today. And if I have to use my credit card to pay it, then I'm going to do that. Versus now, I really have learned to, especially when making big purchases, to sit on it, think on it, pray on it, and really decide if that fits into my budget. But I wasn't like that before. So there's these little money nuances that work okay, possibly if we're still working as a nurse and not having our own business. But once that translates into you budgeting your own money, then it wasn't quite working for me. So I had to figure that out, right? Because what I didn't want to do is have my personal life have to start paying for the business, right? I want the business to pay for the business, my business to start paying for my personal expenses. At a certain point. So that is what you want to get to. So that's why I'm just telling you that, to tell you the little nuances that come up that we don't think about when we are just working. Because again, if I got behind, or if I was like, credit cards got a little bit too crazy, I'm gonna have to work a couple extra shifts next month to pay it off. That's what I did. But when you don't have that guaranteed shift to run back to, because you want to spend time putting your time into your business, and that is not always a guaranteed 12-hour shift check, if you know what I mean. So I had to learn how to budget and how to have an emergency fund so that when bills in the business got low, that I would have that to pull from. So I think it's so important to get clear on your finances before you get into entrepreneurship. So that's why I say, if you are a person who needs to pay down your debts, please do that first. Again, credit card debts mainly, those little bills that you don't need that pop up but make the month stressful, you need to pay those off. Of course, you're still going to have your student loan payments, your mortgage, but you don't want all these extra little bills that you're spending money out every month for going towards bills. You want that money to be able to finance your business or to finance your investment. So the whole point of this episode is to say, if you don't want to start a business, please find some investments to start investing in. That's once you get your credit in order. That's once you get your debt paid off. I want you to do those things first. And if you need help with that, please find a financial coach. I had one before. I'm looking for a new one, and I will let you guys know, of course, have them come on when I do find someone good, because I think the financial aspect is very important, not just for those of us who grew up with issues with money, because that's another thing that people have that don't know. It may come up when you start into entrepreneurship and working on your own, is the issue of those who didn't have money. So your attachment issues to money, you don't want to spend it. You want to save it. You want to see that number in the bank account grow, but then you're not using that money in the bank account to work for you. And that's what we need you to unlock. So there's so many things from our childhood and from advice or other people's ideologies that they put on us when we were younger. Friends, money don't grow on trees. You have to work hard in order to get money. You trade time for money. Those are things that we grew up having, listening to, and we have adapted that to how we live our lives now. But that doesn't necessarily work when you're making money for yourself. So please figure out those money issues that you have by getting a coach, a therapist, a mindset coach, somebody who can help you figure out your money if you're not someone who is, because there are those who are very budget and we need this to pay for this and I can't go outside of my budget, and love those people. They have other struggles. But for those of us who have the money struggle and kind of budgeting and figuring it all out, educating myself again on finances and how to make money work for you has definitely been a blessing and has ultimately bought me the freedom that I want. As well as, this business, this med spa here, I'm really thinking of now, like, I want to get this thing honed in so that I can sell it, because I want to, the idea of investments and getting into different businesses and investment opportunities, that excites me because I'm always a type of person who has a goal and their eyes set on something, and then I accomplish that, and it's kind of like, okay, let's go on to the next thing. Let's see, I have some notes here. So some ways to start investing, other than, again, starting your own business, is your 401k. There are different types. There are life insurance plans that you can get that work for you, there's life insurance plans that can work for you and work to grow your money, and you can pull from them. So that would be getting under someone or talking to someone like a financial planner. I know we had the Urban Nurse on recently, so you can go back and listen to his episode, and he does a lot of financial planning and helping nurses to make their money work for them. You can get into real estate. There's so many different areas of real estate. There's like buying houses for pennies. There's I forgot what the investing is called. But basically, say if you have a little chunk of money, you have $5,000 and you want a hard money lender and you want to lend it to someone for repairs. And then you say, I lend you this 5,000 to do these repairs, and then I get such and such back. There's that way. There is so many avenues of real estate investing. You just have to get under someone, again, who knows. So that might not technically look like your own business, but it is because you are managing your real estate portfolio. There's also the stock market. I have been hearing so much about the stock market, and it's definitely something that I want to get into. It just seems like a huge beast to conquer and a challenge and to overcome. But I know that there are people who get into it and they learn it and they start small. Again, they start with the penny stocks. You could start with investing pennies. You can start with investing the money that's in your 401k. Did you guys know that with your 401k money? See, and this is the thing that gets me with nurses, because we hold on to those benefits and we hold on to those 401ks. Do you even know what your 401k is really doing? Now, we know we pay into it, but do you know that they take our 401k, speaking about making money work for you, they take the money in our 401k and they're actually investing that money. I don't know if you knew that, because I didn't know that. I didn't know that they're taking this and they're investing that money. So they're using our 401k money on the stock market. So you can actually call through my employer, they use Vanguard. There's a lot of different big companies that they use, TD Amerihouse, but you can actually change how they're investing your money. Especially if you are younger, you can have them invest it aggressively so that you are making a little bit more. You're not taking, you're taking more risk because you're younger and you can bounce back and you have years to do it, versus someone who is older, then they might not take as many risks with their 401k, and they would have them invest their money a little bit more sparingly so that they're not taking as many risks, especially if they're getting close to retirement age. So you can change who they are investing your money with, because of course, for instance, Vanguard or even the hospital you're working for, they may have it set up where you're investing in people who could benefit them, but not necessarily investing in the right companies that can grow your money. So I have seen with my own eyes people who have changed their investments through their employer, through their 401k, who their 401k is investing, and they have far more money in their 401k than those who never touched it. So you can play around with the way your 401k money is being invested. And you can also get other 401k accounts that can help you more. Again, that's talking to a financial advisor, someone you find that you can trust, who can show you how to use your money to make your money work for you. So there's a lot more than just starting and opening a business. There's investments, and I really want you guys to look into that, because we want to grow your wealth. Investments can significantly increase your net worth over time. You also want to start thinking about some passive income that you can do. Again, that kind of comes in the business realm. If we are telling you to build community, or you have a group of people who you love speaking to, build some passive income. That's income that you don't have to be there. That's what Dr. Jones talks about when she talks about digital products. So that is something, if you're really good at something, or you have a great, we had Nurse Meg on here, and I know she did how she gives report. If you have a great template of how to give report, start talking about it. Post that up, put it on your social media for, $29 and see. People may buy it, especially if you're talking about it. If it's really resourceful and you use it, people will buy it. So start thinking about some passive ways that you can start making money. Again, start small and educate yourself. So just like on business, you have to continuously educate yourself on ways to make money work for you. I just want you guys, and you can, again, start with the money that you have. You're already investing in that 401k. So start doing that. Let me see how I can make my 401k, the money that's already been taken out, the money that's already there, that's already sitting in an account. let me see what I can do with that, and start educating yourself on how you can maximize your 401k and make it work for you and not rely on your employer to do what's best for your money that they're taking, because most likely they are not. So you want to educate yourself, also set financial goals. I know a good way when I was first got into nursing like 12, 13 years ago, I had to get out of debt, and I definitely use the Dave Ramsey snowball method. So check him out. There are so many other different methods now, but basically just paying the smallest bill that you have, or focusing on the card that maybe has a high interest and you want to pay that one off first. If your interest rates are around the same, then you want to take your smallest credit card, say if it's 200, pay that off. Get some dopamine release. You're paying some things off. Things are working. So pay the $200 card off while you are still paying your other bills. Once that card is paid off, you don't have that, for instance, $35 payment anymore. So you take that $35 payment and you start putting a bigger chunk towards the next biggest credit card, $500 credit card, for instance. So you're going to take, say you've already been paying $55 to that credit card. Now you paid off the credit card that you used to have to pay $35 a month. So you take that 35, add it to the 55, and now you're making extra payments to the next credit card, and you kind of snowball it that way. And that's how you start to pay your bills off. But for one, you have to write down your bills, know them. Okay. A lot of times I know you are out there who are hiding from your finances. You don't want to know, you don't want to look. That is the first part of it. You have to look at it. And that is the second part, which is setting those financial goals, having a clear understanding, but overcoming common barriers, which is fear of risk and fear of knowing. You have to know what you're working with. That's the only way you're going to be able to conquer it. And a lot of times in our heads, it's worse than we think. And even if it is worse than we think, there's a little sigh of relief that comes from at least knowing. So I want to talk about finances because I feel like finances is a big thing that keep people stuck, especially when it comes to wanting to start your own business. So you say, Christal, I want to start my own business. I want to have this freedom, but I can't see a way out. I have to work 4 or 5 days a week because I have so much debt or have kids. But start looking at those things and seeing where you can shift things around. And that starts with getting clear with your finances, writing them down, seeing what the real picture is, and then tackling it that way. So there's so many books about paying off debt. You just have to do it. Set your mind to it and make that your first goal is paying off debt before you move into starting a business. But the investment part and the investment piece, and also your emergency fund and your emergency fund and your savings account, you definitely want to start that immediately. Even if you feel broker than broke, you want to start those things just so that it started. And again, you get into the habit. So you want to make it easy for you to be able to monitor. So once you write all your bills out, you have that, then you have make a little spreadsheet about what bills you have, how much is due, when it's due, so you can at least know that and you know what it is. And then make it easier on yourself so that you can go and maybe every 2 weeks you're checking your bank account, just making sure that there's no miscellaneous charges. That's another thing. Go through your bank account and see what subscriptions you have that you can cancel, because a lot of times we have all these subscriptions that are coming out and we don't even use the thing anymore. So go through, cancel all those subscriptions, look at where your finances are going and start making budgets that way. But you have to look at it to know what it is. So don't let your lack of knowledge keep you stuck. But there's so many resources and support online. There's YouTube, there's books. Please, we talk about books all the time, not just entrepreneurial books. Read books to make your life better in every way, whether that's financial books, again, books to help your self-care, your mental. You always want to be reading, or watching something, or podcasting. It's great. So there's a lot of financial podcasts or podcasts surrounding finances. So find you someone you like, just like this podcast you're listening to here. Find you someone who can talk about finances, who you can relate to, and who has principles that seem like there's something that are easy for you and easy for you to adapt to. So I hope that helps. Just wanted to come in and I will keep doing these because, again, I'm doing them as I'm learning them. I'm learning more about finances, making my money work for me. And just, again, hearing from people who are not nurses and who don't even have the education we have, but are killing it out here in their investments and just making their money work for them. Not even having a business, but just getting into these different investment opportunities has really been great and encouraging. And I hope to encourage you all to do the same and to at least look into it and see what your options are. So I hope that helps. Again, thank you so much for listening. Please leave comments. If you enjoyed this, if you want more of this, if it has helped you, please write in, leave a comment, because that's how we know that we're doing a good job. Otherwise, we're just out here randomly maybe speaking on things that you guys don't even care about. But if you are enjoying the podcast and what we're talking about and want to hear more, please let us know what topics you want us to cover, what you would like to hear, or who you would like us to interview. So that's all for now. And I will catch you on the next episode of the Nurse Boss Shift. Have a great day.